My name is Will Harding. I'm acting head teacher at Holy Family Catholic Primary School in Patchway in Bristol. I became familiar with learning by questions from a previous school, and then when I came here in September 2019, I was teaching Year 6. In the build up to SATs, we introduced it on the 60-day free trial, and the children just really engaged with it straight away. The different learning style on the computer makes everything a bit different, a bit more exciting. The format was really similar to SATs, the questions were, which helped the children, and I just noticed straight away how engaged they were with all of it. So we're using it now we have licenses from Year 2 up to Year 6. And every week each class will have a morning slot with the computers. So the afternoon slots will be for their computing, etc. When you've got it for the morning slot is when classes use LBQ. So it will be based on the topic that they're doing in class that week. Lots used from maths, but also SPAG, etc. fitted in there. Teachers use that and they can plug in, you can see any gaps. It's a great diagnostic tool. And yeah, that's how, so each morning they'll use LBQ on their allotted slot. So during a lesson you'll have the screen up obviously with the pupil names on. You can see there might be one question in particular where you can spot straight away the pattern that 5 or 6 of them have got it wrong. In that case I'd pause the lesson, we can go through it, just gives you an opportunity for a little mini plenary straight away without having to go around and spot different books. You can see it in front of you, you've got the information there, you can stop it. That can be a group that might need some work, it might be an objective you need to reteach, so it might be something they've missed, but there's just loads that you can do because you can see it on screen. It saves children who perhaps might be a bit less confident if they don't want their peers to know that they're stuck. So the fact that their names are hidden is great because you can just have a quick look. They're not looking at the board. You can see their name and go over to them, have a quiet word. Or you could speak to my support staff and say, oh, do you mind going and check in on little Johnny, see how he's getting on, because he's a bit stuck on this one. It can just be a really quiet word. It's just you're down next to them, next to the laptop, really impersonal, so that not everyone can see and it's not drawing attention to them. Year 6, pivotal year for the school, so they're obviously going to have, it's their final year of primary school. They've got their end of Key Stage 2 assessments, everything they've been building up to for the whole of Key Stage 2. I think people can fall into the trap thinking it's all on the Year 6 teacher, but it's everything they've learned in Key Stage 2, which makes LBQ such a great tool because you can target objectives they've perhaps missed from previous years, but all those gaps can be plugged by analysing the results and downloading the data. You can look at it. If you're data minded like I am, it's all in front of you and you can really tailor interventions. It's all very dynamic and just there ready to go. At various assessment points, we'll obviously have then a meeting with subject leads. Subject leads will meet with teachers about how everything's going in their class progress wise, and LBQ can perform a really big part of that because you have quantifiable data there in front of you that can be discussed. And then if we're talking about what our intervention groups are going to be, what objectives might need more support, it's there in front of you. You have all the information ready to go, so teachers can tailor things far more easily, and you have, rather than thinking, oh, I'm just going to go and get their book from Friday because I remember they did that poorly in the lesson or whatever, you have it in front of you there and you can speak about it in pupil progress meetings or whatever that might be. If I saw a question and there were, say, question 7 and everyone was getting it wrong, and then you can look at the great thing, you can click on show responses, and it might be something like in a fraction, they might have mixed up the numerator and denominator. I can see that straight away and I can just pause the lesson so everyone stops automatically rather than people carrying on. They can't, so they have to look at you. You can address that misconception. Everyone then is sorted, unpause and they crack on back with the lesson, so you really keep the flow of the lesson going. They might not have the same skills with technology that some non-disadvantaged children have. So LBQ is great for that because it's really pictorial. The questions are worded in a way that all children can access. There might be a wider gap with the disadvantaged children to others, but because you can pitch the lessons at different levels, different tasks going on at the same time, you can have that learning going on. They're all able to achieve whilst you can still hone in on the skills element of it. Another area in Bristol which might be an issue would be class sizes. Classes are pretty much full everywhere, lots of schools with high waiting lists. So LBQ allows you to have those lessons really well pitched to all abilities in the class. You could have 3 tasks going on at the same time. It might be 3 different lessons for gaps that you need to do for different groups. So it allows you to, even though we have full classes and limited numbers of staff for that, it allows you to still get around the whole class. Everyone gets access to a high quality lesson. So my sister's a teacher, she works at a school in Bath, and I'm on at her constantly about getting into it because of how much time it saves. As a teacher, she's always moaning about not having time to plan, prepare resources, mark, and I just say, LBQ, you need to get it. It will solve it for everything. So she's going to her head. We'll see how she gets on, but I couldn't recommend it highly enough. I think teacher wellbeing is absolutely massive at the moment. I think unfortunately, people still think we come in at 9, go at 3, get our 6 weeks off in the summer. Absolutely love it. Unfortunately, teacher workload at the moment, pressures are higher than ever. Coming back after lockdown, there's obviously huge gaps. LBQ just helps so much because you know that those objectives are going to be covered by the lessons. They're already planned. You can adapt that to your own class's needs. The ability to create your own question sets. There's so much you can do with it as a tool that takes away that planning time, takes away that time to make resources, which allows you then to plan and resource better lessons for when you're not using LBQ, because you don't have to spend that time covering something. It's already pre-made, it's there for you. I would recommend learning by questions to any school looking to save on workload, looking to have an easy analytical tool there at your fingertips, something that children really engage with and enjoy. It makes their lessons different. Sometimes I've had them say to me, it doesn't feel like I'm doing work, but you know they are. You have the data there, you can see what they're doing. So I would recommend it to absolutely any school. Classes come in on a morning when they have a computing slot and they're straight away to the teacher or to me, oh, are we doing LBQ today? They can't wait. It's a different interface for them. It's not the pencils in book. They're really engaged with it, going to help each other. What question are you on? So almost like a competitive element as well, but they absolutely just are fully engaged, and you can see they can't wait for the LBQ sessions. I don't think the children would be very happy. I think you'd have a revolt from the teachers. It's been a programme that we've used so much to great effect. Over the remote learning period, it was such a great tool. We had like thousands of questions answered. I think we something like over 100,000 questions in the first lockdown. Then having it from year 2 to year 6 has made such a difference in their engagement, and being able to just track where children are efficiently, not just trawling through a book. It's really helped with our assessment tools. Just so much that we would miss if we didn't have it. The money that you spend on LBQ is absolutely worth double that at least. The amount of time it saves teachers, the amount of engagement the kids get out of it means that their progress is better, so the impact of it is huge. We've this year used our catch-up fund to allow for that as well, so it's something that we'll be continuing with for the foreseeable future. It's a tool that gives you confidence as a teacher, because you go into the class, you know it's there, you're not worrying about running around about the photocopier. You're in class, you know the class are going to be engaged, so at the start of your lesson already you're at a sense of we're ready to go, the kids are raring to go, and it just gives you, I just find whenever I'm teaching an LBQ lesson, the buzz in the class and walking around, there's such a buzz when it is going on. Sometimes you can have those lessons when you're writing in your book, there's a bit of a lull in the class, but with LBQ, the atmosphere in the class is electric, and that makes you feel great as a teacher, makes you feel that your class are getting somewhere and that you're doing the right thing.